Good morning, welcome to the channel. It's Monday and I am stuck in Orlando. I've been diving the cenotes in Mexico for the last 7 days and due to go home, but my flight from Dallas to Sydney was cancelled. So I'm stuck in Orlando for 3 days waiting for a connection from here to LA and then LA to Brisbane and then Brisbane back to Sydney. So but what it does mean is that I didn't get to do the Kennedy Space Center last time I was here because there was the Axiom launch to the ISS. So yesterday I went online, booked a Viator trip. I know there's a lot of online people hate Viator, but for me they're brilliant. You just go online, just book a tour, and they've always been reliable, and I've used them all around the world. So so today I've actually managed to get to go to the Kennedy, which I'm really looking forward to. So I'll just get my shit together and then head off.
There are multiple lines, so you don't have to be in the line to the right. There are other lines here. I want to point out to your left, this is the original countdown clock for all of the original space trips, the rockets, and it was retired a few years ago, but it's the second most photographed timepiece in the world.
So I just entered into the rocket garden. So I'm going to spend 10 minutes looking around here, take some photos, and then get the bus over to the Atlantis. It's interesting that nearly all the rockets bar two in this rocket garden used to be intercontinental ballistic missiles, which the US sent astronauts up to space on.
Only two.
It was the start of the Gemini missions. And if you look on top of that one, which was I think John Glenn's one, you see how small it is because the capsule at the top was only designed for one person. And then when they started putting people into orbit, they needed two. So then the rocket started getting bigger. And then that one with a blunt head was used to put the first telecommunications satellite into orbit. And then when they needed to get further into orbit with more astronauts, they went for bigger rockets, and hence the one at the back, which is the Saturn 1B, which they launched for quite some time until they decided to go to the moon. And then when the Apollo mission started, that's when they built the huge rocket, which I've just going to get on a bus and go and see, which was the Apollo 4, which 1965 Ed White did America's first spacewalk. It was the Mercury missions. So now we're going to walk out of the rocket garden, and I'm going to go and, if you walk this way, pick up a bus tour which takes you out to, you can just see in the background, the Atlantis.
Present the story of NASA's Apollo program, the greatest adventure mankind has ever undertaken.
When I was a kid, I used to dream about flying through space. Every week on TV, I'd watch my heroes as they jumped into their rocket ships and took to the stars. And I wanted to be like them. They had courage, imagination, and no problem ever stood in their way for long. You know, in the end, when we actually did send men into space, it turned out that those were exactly the qualities it took. I'm John Hudson. This is Pad 39 of the Kennedy Space Center. I was a launch controller here when from this very spot, man took off to fly to the moon. It was a journey that began 12 years before that rocket ever left the ground. And it started on the other side of the world. This is the firing room, launch control for the Apollo missions. This is not a mock-up. These are the very consoles we sat at when men first took off to fly to the moon. The tragedy of Apollo 1 had put us a year and a half behind. We were making up for it in one big leap, and we were doing it with a rocket that no man had ever flown before.
During this period, once we do get the firing command, the various tanks within the 3 stages of the Saturn V launch vehicle begin to pressurize. We have firing command. Firing command is in right now. Sequence 2 minus 2 minutes, 20 seconds. Our status report indicates that all aspects are ready. Instrument unit is ready, spacecraft ready. Final check of the emergency detection system. That ready light also now. First stage preparations are completed.
Okay. And we're on. Ready to go to crossfire. Stand by, Walter. Okay, you're on.
All systems go. T-minus 45 seconds incoming. First stage oxygen tank has been pressurized and the pressure is still building up. Coming up in 90 seconds mark. T-minus 90 seconds incoming. The Apollo 8 approved standing by. Spacecraft Commander Frank Warner, Jim O'Hare, Bill Andrews. Now report that the lower hydrogen tank in the third stage is pressurized. 1 minute 15 seconds. All third stage propellants pressurized at this time as we come up on the 60-second mark on the flight to the moon. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. The vehicle now is completely pressurized. We have the power transfer. We're now on the flight batteries within the launch vehicle. Final reports from Frank Borman at this time. Look at the switches aboard the spacecraft. 20 seconds on our steps. We are still aboard at this time. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9,
That's a fucking big rocket. This is actually a Saturn V. It's not a model or a reconstruction like the ones in the Rocket Garden. It's the service module.
They're getting into it, but they don't know what it is.
Do you know what this is?
No idea.
Yeah, they're here.
Okay. Pick this spot where it is separated from us and go. Open work.
Second stage.
You have to buy him a rope one. Like this? No, that's up.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The next presentation in the Lunar Theater will begin in 3 minutes. If you would like to join us, please proceed to the nose end of the Saturn V rocket. Thank you.
It's amazing the size of the crew section that actually returns to Earth. It's tiny, and that holds 3 people. And it's weird because I watch all the SpaceX stuff of the launches, and I see all the production of the new Starship, and you can relate, like the forward dome on the sections, and you now appreciate how big this thing is and how it's made up. It's enormous.
They tested it on the beaches to make sure it could go in the sand and stuff. Look at the tires. It's not even tires.
This is an astronaut suit.
So this is cool. This is a viewing area where people pay to watch the rockets launch. Over there in the background is the vehicle assembly building, and as you pan round in the background there with the water tower, you can just see 39A, where the Apollo missions went off. And just in front of me there is 39B, and that's got the Apollo Artemis rocket, which is due to be launched and I think in the next few weeks, which is the unmanned mission around the moon. So actually I think it's about 5 miles, 3 or 5 miles away from the pad, but it would be absolutely amazing to sit here and watch a rocket go up.
Allowing private companies to design in the most efficient and cost-effective way, while NASA engineers offer oversight and expertise. While these companies focus on providing transportation services to and from low Earth orbit, NASA is freed up to focus on deep space missions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Atlantis. I'm going to be conducting a 15 to 20 minute walking tour of the space shuttle orbiter Atlantis. If you would like to join me in raising a word over your mission, we are starting from right here in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Get your questions answered about Atlantis and about the space shuttle program. So if you'd like to join in with that tour, my suggestion would be exploring some of the exhibits here on the upper level. Come on back here in about 8 minutes. Again, this is a 15 to 20 minute walking tour of Atlantis, starting from right here in just under 10 minutes. And it is included with your admission. Thank you.
So there's all the individual tiles which make up the heat shield, and each individual tile is numbered. And it's amazing the condition of this. You can see all the scorch marks and the burn marks from the thrusters and re-entry, and just how dirty it is. And also it's like there's a cloth layer on the outside. It's just absolutely amazing. And there's obviously the crew hatch where they got in and out. And then you realise actually how big the payload bay is and how small the crew compartment is.
Whoever wants to do the tour, come with me. Emily, you want to do the tour? We'll catch up.
It's like I'm always.
I'll throw you.
First built. Now, one of the questions I get asked a lot, how did you get this vehicle inside this building? Well, they built 3 sides of the building, but left the port side open. Brought the vehicle in, mounted it, and then built the port side of the building around it. Guess what? It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
So I'm downstairs underneath Atlantis. Absolutely amazing to see. And I was going to go in the shuttle launch experience, but I've been told there's an hour wait. So screw that. So there's loads of stuff to see, to experience, touch. A memorial for the shuttles, the Challenger and Columbia. Space Shuttle tunnel adapter. Simulators. Yeah, pretty awesome exhibit, but ultimately that is amazing. Anyway, well worth the day out. So I just finished walking around, and it's a pretty awesome day. It's pretty good to go and see all this stuff. Atlantis was amazing. Saturn V was amazing. Just a few things. My tour guide gave me some tips. And it was pretty good, really. First of all, when you come in, just spend 10 minutes in the rocket garden, and then you head down. On your right there's a sign saying bus tours, and basically get in line and that bus takes you out to the Saturn Center. If you do it pretty much straight away, you'll miss a lot of the crowds, because I've just been out there now and there's quite a lot of people queuing up to get in, to go over there and see it. So that, and then spend some time there. There's a Moon Cafe there, so you can get sandwiches, or you can get burgers and chips and chicken tenders, and so you can have your lunch there. Lots of exhibits, lots of stuff to do. That was really cool. Then go outside, because that's where the viewing area is, so you can see across the water to the launch pads. And then get the bus back, and the bus drops you off at the Atlantis exhibit, and that's pretty cool. But again, the only disappointment was the simulator for the launch. It was like an hour wait, so I can't be asked to do that. But all in all, it's been an interesting day. Me personally, you only need to spend maybe 3 or 4 hours here, but my tour is like 6-7 hours, and some people want to stay longer. So I'm just going to go to the gift shop, have a look in there, but basically it's a load of shit. And then otherwise you'll see loads of people wearing NASA t-shirts, but was it worth the money? Absolutely. I love space stuff. I watch the SpaceX over at Boca Chica on YouTube, and it's amazing to actually see the technology has not changed that much for rocket making, and I just love it. So I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. But yeah, that's all I can say. Thanks for watching.